Hey, I'm Tom, 46 years old, and my wife, Lisa, is 44. We've raised 2 kids who are all grown up now, a 23-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter. Out of the blue, Lisa found out she's expecting, with the baby due in just 3 months. Even though this wasn't in our plans, I couldn't help but feel excited about the idea of being a dad again. Let me give you a bit of background to set the stage. For the past 19 years, I've been with the same company, bringing home a reliable paycheck. Lisa stayed home to take care of our kids until our daughter turned 16, and that's when she decided to jump back into the working world. She took an office job at a company nearby and stuck with it for about 4 years before recently switching to a new role. Her new job is pretty much the same kind of work, but it's clear across town. The pay's a little better, but her move came out of nowhere, and her excuses, feeling bored and wanting something different, didn't quite add up in my mind. A couple of months after she settled into her new job, I got a call from the wife of her old boss, let's call her Linda. Linda dropped a bombshell, saying she had evidence that her husband and Lisa had been physically involved 6 months back, just before Lisa quit her job. I didn't want to believe it at first, but then Linda sent me copies of their messages. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, reading those texts hit me like a ton of bricks. From what I could see in their exchanges, the affair went on for about a month, and they met up at least 3 times at our house. In one of their last messages, her boss pushed her to leave me, promising he'd ditch Linda if she did. Lisa shot back that she couldn't do it because she loved me. That's when it seems she called off their fling, and, funny enough, that's right around the time she started hunting for a new job. Once Lisa told her boss she was leaving, he flooded her with messages, pleading with her to stay and throwing out all kinds of incentives, a hefty raise, extra bonuses, and even the chance to work from home 3 days a week. He swore their relationship would stay strictly professional moving forward, but Lisa wasn't having it and walked away from the company. As far as I could tell, she cut off all contact with him after that. Linda told me that when she found out about the affair, she kicked her husband to the curb and started divorce proceedings. On top of that, she reported him to his company's HR, and he got canned from his big shot management role. Linda made it clear she's out to make him pay for what he did for the rest of his days. I thanked her for cluing me in, and we agreed to stay in touch. That same night, I sat Lisa down and confronted her. She tried to brush it off at first, but when I showed her the stack of messages, she couldn't deny it anymore. She broke down in tears, owned up to everything, and begged me to forgive her. She said all the stuff you'd expect from someone caught red-handed and sorry about it. Right then and there, I told her I was done and would be filing for divorce. She pleaded with me not to go through with it, saying she ended the affair and left her job because she loved me and wanted us to stay together for good. She also brought up how we needed to make a great home for our son when he's born. I told her that if the kid's mine, I'll be the best dad I can be, married to her or not. She looked confused and asked what I was getting at. I said she knew exactly what I meant and told her the baby's getting a DNA test the day he's born. I added that if he's not mine, I'm out of the picture completely. That sent her into a total tailspin. She kept swearing up and down the baby was mine, but I just said, we'll find out. After that, she ran upstairs sobbing, and I took the chance to call her parents and fill them in on everything. They rushed over to support me, and Lisa spilled her guts to them, crying the whole time they were there. Man, that was one rough day. That same evening, after everything went down, I had to break the news to our kids when they walked in and saw us all in the living room, their mom a sobbing mess. They couldn't wrap their heads around it and were seriously shaken up by what their mom had done. That night, I moved Lisa's stuff into the spare bedroom to put some space between us. I also stopped eating meals with her and kept our conversations to a bare minimum from then on. My dad pulled me aside and said I should get in touch with a lawyer to safeguard myself and my finances, so I followed his advice and set up a meeting the next week. Sitting down with that attorney was a smart move, and I'm thankful I did it. She told me to get a DNA test done ASAP to sort out the baby's paternity. She also laid out that if the test proved I wasn't the father, I should file a paternity challenge case to protect myself legally. I brought it up with Lisa, and she agreed to the test, so we booked an appointment for the following week. But Lisa kept pushing me to hold off on the test until after the baby was born, even offering to sign a paper saying she wouldn't hold me accountable if I wasn't the dad, all while insisting I was. I ran her offer by my lawyer, who shut it down and told me to quit talking to Lisa so much and just get the test done. I took her advice, explained it to Lisa, and she reluctantly went along with it, tears and all. Lisa started acting super anxious, like she was falling apart, and even took time off work until after the test because she couldn't focus. Her behavior had me bracing for the worst, but I figured we'd know soon enough. So, I sat down with our kids and urged them to be there for their mom during this mess. I also made it clear that no matter what the test showed, they'd soon have a little brother who'd need their love and support, and they nodded, getting where I was coming from. Truth be told, I was wrestling with how I felt about the paternity test at that point. Part of me was thrilled at the idea of having another son, but deep down, I was pretty much set on divorcing Lisa no matter what the results said. I figured if the test showed the kid wasn't mine, it'd make walking away from her a whole lot easier. Well, a few days later, the test results came back, and the baby wasn't mine. I said before I was torn about it, but that was a lie. I desperately wanted that kid to be mine. When I heard the news, it was like someone punched the air out of my chest, and I had my first ever panic attack, totally losing it. Lisa was an absolute wreck and took a leave of absence from her job. She kept begging me to stay, swearing she'd do anything to save our marriage, but I was just done. That news shattered me, and all I wanted was for this nightmare to end. I told her to pack up and move in with her parents because I couldn't handle living under the same roof anymore. Her constant crying and pleading were too much. She agreed, but only if I promised to keep in touch, so I said I'd limit it to 2 calls a week, and I stuck to that, even though she tried calling me every single day, and I usually didn't pick up. In one of her texts, she mentioned she wasn't going to tell her former boss he's the father or go after him for child support. I told her that wasn't my problem to worry about. She went on, saying she wanted me to be the dad and that nobody outside our close family would ever know I wasn't. She even suggested I could treat him like an adopted kid. That set me off, and I laid it out plain. I've got no issue with the child, but I'm not gonna play any major role in his life, no more than I would for some random guy's kid. She sobbed, begged me to reconsider, and even tried guilting me, but I wasn't budging. Right around then, my regional president brought up the idea of me moving to North Carolina to take charge of the office down there, and I was seriously thinking it over. My kids were all for it, saying if I made the move, they'd come with me. My son's a talented tradesman who can land a job pretty much anywhere he goes, while my daughter was still in college back then, just a few months shy of getting her degree. So, I made up my mind that if I took the North Carolina job, it wouldn't be about the paycheck, it'd be about leaving this whole mess behind and settling somewhere with softer winters. Fast forward 10 months, and Lisa and I finalized our divorce, right around the time she gave birth to her baby. We kept things civil, splitting our assets right down the middle, with no alimony or child support involved. My lawyer suggested we include a clause that Lisa couldn't give the baby my last name, which she wasn't happy about at first but eventually agreed to, using her maiden name instead. I had no idea parents could just pick any last name for their kid like that. My attorney broke it down, saying in our state, you can choose whatever last name you want for a child, but she warned it often leads to mix-ups and headaches. Lisa and her son are still staying with her parents for now. I'll get into that more later. So, I took the leap and accepted the job in North Carolina, and let me tell you, I'm loving this new chapter and the whole vibe down here. The place is spotless and feels fresh, plus I'm living smack between the mountains and the coast, which is awesome. I bought a brand new house, and my son moved in with me about 3 months back. He's already got steady work and is pulling in almost 20% more than he made up north. My daughter's set to finish her degree in December and plans to join us down here early next year. My parents have visited twice and are totally smitten with the area. They're thinking about buying a small patio home and retiring here eventually. I'm nudging them to make the move sooner, but they're still a bit nervous about uprooting their lives. I'm pretty sure I'm close to convincing them, though. Now, about Lisa and her son, my kids mentioned she's been talking about quitting her job and relocating down here too. That's got her parents pretty upset, since she's their only kid. She's been trying to persuade them to come along, but they're not biting. My kids managed to slow her down for now, pointing out she'd lose her parents as reliable babysitters if she moved. I'm praying she doesn't show up here, because that would turn my life into a stressful mess all over again. She hasn't said a word to me about it, and I'm hoping it stays that way. If she decides to move, there's not much I can do, so I'm just taking it one day at a time for now. Once our divorce was officially done, Lisa kept reaching out with calls and texts, acting like we were still a couple. Just last week, I laid it out clear that she should only get in touch when it's about something serious with our kids. She said she got it, but then she kept pinging me with trivial stuff that didn't matter. Every single chat ended up with her asking how I'm holding up, saying she misses me, apologizing over and over for her mistakes, and insisting I'd fall in love with her baby if I just held him once. I cut that talk short and made it plain again that I've got no hard feelings toward her son. I truly wish him a healthy, happy life and hope he grows into a great guy someday. But I stressed that I'm not going to be a big part of his world. I told her if I run into him at our kids' events, I'll be polite and treat him kindly, but that's where it ends. I also told her to quit with the calls and texts. I said she should email me if there's something important about our kids, and I'll decide if we need to talk it over. For whatever reason, that upset her, and she broke down, saying our talks were the only thing keeping her sane, and cutting them off might push her over the edge. I held firm, and after a bit, she finally backed off and agreed to my terms. So, that's where things stand now. Even though Lisa tore apart the great life I used to have, I'm starting to feel like a new man inside. Honestly, I'm as energized and full of ideas as I was back in my younger days. What's wild is I actually feel better now, thanks to a confidence I didn't have back then that's carrying me forward. For anyone curious, I haven't jumped back into the dating scene yet, but I'm planning to dip my toes in after the new year kicks off. I'm not looking to tie the knot again, but I'd love to find someone special to share life's adventures with. Sorry, Lisa, but that someone isn't going to be you. To wrap this up, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's taken the time to hear my story. I appreciate you sticking with me. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. Until we cross paths again, take it easy, and I'll catch you down the road.